Hello students, I am VLN Swarupini, lecturer in biochemistry from Sri Venkateswara College of Arts and Sciences, which is affiliated to Adikavi Nannaya University, Rajahmundry. Now I would like to discuss about second BSc third semester biochemistry paper, that is in enzymology and bioenergetics. From this paper, in Unit 4, we have a topic called high energy compounds. High energy compounds. Very important question in the exam point of view. Okay, so it might be asked for short or for essay. Okay, if it is asked for short, you should just mention what is an high energy compound and you can give one or two examples. But if it is asked for essay, you should explain the whole topic with all the examples given to you. Okay, so let's start the topic high energy compounds. The substance which possesses significant free energy to liberate at least 7 kilocalories per mole at pH 7 are referred to as high energy compounds or energy rich compounds. Okay, so simply we can tell these high energy compounds are nothing but energy storage resources. Okay, so energy is stored in the form of high energy compounds, and whenever our body requires energy, this high energy compound will release the free energy, and that particular free energy will be liberated at least 7 kilocalories per mole at pH 7. Okay, so these are called as high energy compounds or energy rich compounds, and both the names refer the same thing. Okay, and a small family of universal biomolecules mediates the flow of energy from exergonic reaction to energy requiring process of life. Okay, so these are a small group of universal biomolecules which helps in the flow of energy from exergonic reaction to the energy requiring process of life. Okay, so what it means, these are a small family of universal biomolecules. Okay, so we have different kinds of biomolecules like carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, minerals. So similar to all these biomolecules, these high energy compounds are also a small family of biomolecules, and this will help in the flow of energy from exergonic reactions for the to meet up the requirements of the energy requirements of the life. Okay, that means these are small group of biomolecules which help in the flow of energy to facilitate the energy required by that particular body. Okay, and high energy phosphate compounds and some reduced coenzyme belong to this family. So while discussing about ATP in the previous class, I just told you about this high energy compounds, and what I mentioned there, phosphate, all the high energy compounds are mostly phosphate esters. I told this point. So here almost all high energy compounds are high energy phosphate compounds. Okay, and some are reduced coenzymes are also present in this family. Family means high energy compounds family. These are high energy phosphate compounds or few reduced coenzymes are present in this high energy work as high energy compounds. Okay, and on hydrolysis these compounds exhibit large negative free energy. Okay, so whenever these high energy compounds like ATP, ADP or other components, whenever these are hydrolyzed, these will release large amount of negative free energies. Okay, and this free energy will be utilized furtherly. Okay, biologically occurring phosphate esters play a key role in the energy transaction of a living system, living cell. Okay, so as I told, maximum all of the high energy compounds are phosphate esters, and excuse me, all biologically occurring phosphate esters, they play an important role in energy transaction, energy transfer of the in the living cells. And here adenosine triphosphate is a basic unit of energy legal tender throughout the phylogenetic scale. Okay, so here most important high energy compound is adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP. It is the major energy resource in our body. Okay, for any energy release in our body, primarily this ATP will be utilized. Okay, this is the basic unit of energy throughout our phylogenetic scale. Phylogenetic scale means our genetical, based on our genetical evolution also. If we consider, this ATP is majorly in around all the species of the earth. Okay, so except acetyl-CoA, most of the high energy compounds contain phosphate group, hence they are called high energy phosphate compounds. Okay, so as discussed before, these high energy compounds, only one exceptional case, that is acetyl-CoA. Except acetyl-CoA, all the other high energy compounds have phosphate group, and that's why due to presence of phosphate group in 99% of the high energy compounds, we call them as high energy phosphate compounds. High energy phosphate compounds. And a scientist Lippmann suggested a symbol squiggle to represent high energy compounds. Okay, so scientist Lippmann suggested the symbol squiggle to represent high energy bond. Okay, so this high energy bond is present in the high energy compounds. In the high energy compounds, this squiggle is represented to represented for the bond present between the high energy compounds. If you see here, phosphate groups are attached with bonds, and it is represented with squiggle. Okay, so this is the structure of ATP. In ATP structure, you can see the representation of bonds between phosphate groups with squiggle. Okay, so let's get back. So these bonds which are present in this high energy compounds are represented with the symbol squiggle, which is given by Lippmann. And this is, whenever we see the symbol of squiggle, it represents high energy bond. And some important groups of high energy compounds are phosphoric acid anhydrates, phosphoric carboxylic anhydrates, enol phosphates, thioesters. Okay, so these are the few important groups of high energy compounds. So here phosphoric acid anhydrates, phosphoric carboxylic anhydrates, enol phosphates and thioesters. These are few types of high energy compound groups. So now let's see examples of these high energy compounds. And first and foremost, and a very important example for this high energy compound is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP. We simply call it as ATP. ATP is a unique and the most important high energy molecule in the living cells. ATP is a unique and the most important high energy molecule in the living cells. It is a high energy compound due to the presence of two phosphoanhydride bonds in the molecule. So ATP is a unique and most important high energy molecule in the living cells. Okay, as discussed earlier, this ATP is a very important high energy compound in the phylogenetic tree. Phylogenetic tree means in most of the species this ATP is the major energy source. That's why it is a unique and most important high energy molecule, and it is a high energy compound due to the presence of two phosphoanhydride bonds. So in ATP two phosphate groups which are bound with two phosphoanhydride bonds. If you see the structure of the ATP, you can identify. So here two phosphoanhydride bonds are present, which are represented with squiggle. Due to presence of this bonds, this ATP is very unique and it is very important high energy compound, and it serves as energy currency of the cell. Energy currency means nothing but it is the energy reserve. Okay, energy reserve for any cell. This is the energy reserve for all cells, and ATP to yield much energy when the phosphate group is hydrolyzed. Okay, this ATP will yield or will release high amount of energy when the phosphate group, as adenosine triphosphate means it will contain 3 phosphate groups, and any phosphorylation of any of the phosphate group will lead to release of high amount of energy. Okay, so whenever an ATP molecule is hydrolyzed to ADP by removal of one phosphate group as inorganic phosphate, and it is done with one water molecule. Okay, and during this process what will happen? There will be release of 7.3 kilocalories per mole of energy. So as we just seen the definition of this high energy compounds, we have seen, just observe this definition of this high energy compounds. It should release around 7 kilocalories per mole of energy. Okay, any high energy compound should release around 7 kilocalories per mole of free energy. Then only it is considered as high energy compound. And here ATP is releasing 7.3 kilocalories per mole, 7.3 kilocalories per mole of free energy. So that's why it is regarded as high energy compound. Okay, and ATP donates high energy phosphate to lower energy compounds to make them energy rich. Okay, so if you take our best example, that is conversion of glucose to glucose 6 phosphate. In that reaction we can consider ATP is utilized. Okay, ATP is utilized and one phosphate group is hydrolyzed during the conversion of glycolysis to glucose to glucose 6 phosphate, and during that process what happens, one phosphate group is will be hydrolyzed from ATP, and that particular phosphate group is given to the glucose. Okay, it is given to the glucose to make it energy rich and convert it into glucose 6 phosphate. So this is how this ATP will donate high energy phosphate of this particular ATP is donated to the compounds which are weaker. Okay, compounds which are weaker will this ATP will serve that particular weak components with high energy phosphate to make them energy rich. Okay, simply take this ATP as a rich man. Okay, consider this ATP as a rich man, and as it has lots and lots of money. Here money means phosphate group. This is a high energy compound. No, so the high energy group is phosphate in ATP. So we can consider this phosphate group as money, and with this ATP, who is a richy man like Richie, he will donate money, that is phosphate, to the weaker sections. Okay, people who doesn't have sufficient amount to survive, what this ATP will do, it will donate a phosphate group and make them richer. Okay, energy rich. Okay, so it acts as an energy link between the catabolism and anabolism in biological system. So here the word catabolism and anabolism means catabolism, it is the breakdown of complex molecule into simpler molecules, whereas anabolism is a process in which a complex molecule is formed from simpler and smaller molecules. Okay, so both are different kinds of metabolic methods. Okay, in our biological system, any reaction will be occurred in catabolic way or in an anabolic way. So this particular ATP is a linking energy compound. It is a energy link between the catabolism and anabolism. So how a complex molecule can be broke down, okay, or simpler molecules can be combined to form a complex molecule with the help of this ATP. Okay, by donating phosphate group or by taking phosphate group, this particular ATP will help catabolic and anabolic reactions in the biological system. So here we discussed conversion of glucose to glucose 6 phosphate. It is a kind of anabolic reaction, and what it happened here, ATP was given, ATP gave energy to the glucose, and in this manner in catabolism reactions also it will help. Okay, and the free energy decreases occurring in 2 hydrolysis reaction of ATP. Okay, so ATP will be ATP hydrolysis will be achieved and free energy will be decreased by hydrolysis of this ATP. Free energy which is present in the ATP molecule will be decreased by the two hydrolysis reactions of ATP. That means by first hydrolysis what will happen? It will be converted into ADP, adenosine diphosphate. Okay. If ADP undergo one more hydrolysis reaction, what will happen? Adenosine monophosphate will be produced. Okay, so AMP will be produced. Okay. In this manner, free energy will be decreased by two hydrolysis reactions to this ATP. See the structure of ATP. If possible, take a screenshot, or you can also see it in the material given to you. Okay. The next topic is phosphoric carbolic anhydrates. Phosphoric carboxylic anhydrates. Okay. The mixed anhydrates of phosphoric acid and carbolic acid called acyl phosphates. So here phosphoric carboxylic anhydrates are called as acyl phosphates, and here the mixture of anhydrates of phosphoric acid and carbonic acid are called as acyl phosphates. Okay, and acyl phosphates are energy rich compounds. These acyl phosphates are energy rich compounds, and 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate and acetyl phosphate are biologically two important acyl phosphates. So in biological system there are many kinds of acyl phosphates. From all of that, 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, this is also a intermediary component in the glycolysis process, and along with this 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate acetyl phosphate is also an important, biologically important high energy acyl phosphate. Okay. Hydrolysis of these compounds yield 3-phosphoglycerate and acetate respectively. So, by hydrolysis of 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate, we will get 3-phosphoglycerate, and furtherly from 3-phosphoglycerate 2-phosphoglycerate is formed. In that phosphoenol pyruvate and pyruvate will be produced. So, that is the sequence of reactions that are seen from the 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate in glycolysis process. Okay, whenever this 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is hydrolyzed, it will produce 3-phosphoglycerate, and also by hydrolysis of this acetyl phosphate acetate will be produced. Okay. See the reaction here. Here 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate will react with water molecule in the presence of the enzyme phosphoglycerate kinase, and it will form 3-phosphoglycerate, and an inorganic phosphate is released. Okay, and along with that one hydrogen ion is also released. Okay, 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is formed during glycolysis or breakdown of glucose. In this, only one phosphate bond attached to the carbolic group is energy rich. So here if you see observe the 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate structure, here it contains two phosphate groups. Okay, it is having two phosphate groups. Okay, in these two phosphate groups only one is energy rich. Okay, so if you see the structure, both the phosphate groups are present, and only one phosphate group is bonding of one phosphate group is represented with squiggle. Okay, so squiggle is the representation for high energy bond. Okay, so only the phosphate group which is attached with this high energy bond squiggle, that is only energy rich, and the other phosphate group is a normal phosphate group. Okay, so here 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, only one phosphate group is energy rich, and on hydrolysis process this particular energy rich phosphate is released and 3-phosphoglycerate is produced, and inorganic phosphate is releases freely, and 1 hydrogen ion is also released. Here if you observe, this is a best example for the group, that is phosphoric carboxyl anhydrates. Okay, and the next example for this is acyl phosphate, acetyl phosphate. It is hydrolyzed to form acetate, that is CH3COO minus by removal of 1 high energy phosphate and a hydrogen ion. So in both the equations, if you observe here, free energy is released in the form of phosphate. Okay, high energy phosphate. Okay, and the next high energy compound is enol. Next high energy compound is enol, and this phosphoenol pyruvate, which we simply call it as PEP, is an example for enolic phosphate, and this molecule is an important intermediate in carbohydrate metabolism due to its large negative free energy. So this phosphoenol pyruvate is formed from 2-phosphoglycerate. Okay, it is formed from 2-phosphoglycerate, and this PEP is an enolic phosphate and an important intermediate in the carbohydrate metabolism. And which carbohydrate metabolism? In glycolysis. Okay, it is a intermediate component of carbohydrate metabolism, that is glycolysis, and it contains large amount of negative free energy. Okay, and it belongs to the group enolic phosphate. Okay, best example for enolic phosphate. And it is a potent phosphorylating agent. It contains 1 phosphate ester bond that can undergo hydrolysis to yield enol form of pyruvate, which immediately tautomerize to the more stable keto form of pyruvate, and the stable form of product is the contributor to the high standard free energy of hydrolysis. If you see the reaction, this phosphoenol pyruvate is converted into pyruvate by the enzyme pyruvate kinase, in which adenosine diphosphate is used, and 1 inorganic phosphate which is released from this particular phosphoenol pyruvate is taken by the ADP, and finally end products produced will be pyruvate and ATP, adenosine triphosphate. The inorganic phosphate which is present in the phosphoenol pyruvate is taken back by this ATP. So during the reaction of this phosphoenol pyruvate, what happens? This phosphate ester bond which is present in relation with this high energy phosphate will be hydrolyzed. Okay, it will be hydrolyzed, and pyruvate, enol form of pyruvate is formed. Okay, and this enol form gets tautomerized to form keto form of pyruvate. Okay, and this is the stable form of product pyruvate, and by formation of the stable form that is keto pyruvate, it will lead to produce of huge amount of high standard free energy. Okay, so this is how this phosphoenol pyruvate is helpful in the glycolysis process. And up to hydrolysis, unstable enolic form of pyruvate converts to the keto form, resulting in large negative free energy release. Together, the hydrolysis and subsequent tautomerization will result in an overall free energy, that is delta G naught. Delta G naught means it is a standard free energy change, that is delta G naught is around 62.2 kilojoules per mole. Okay, so by hydrolysis what happens? This unstable enolic form of pyruvate is converted into keto form, and this leads to release of large negative free energy. And during this reaction, hydrolysis along with tautomerization occurs. Okay, not only hydrolysis, here tautomerization will also occur. And when this tautomerization will occur, it is followed by the hydrolysis process. First, hydrolysis will be taken and enolic form of pyruvate is formed, and to form more stable keto form of pyruvate, this tautomerization will be carried. Okay, so by this tautomerization and hydrolysis reactions, what will happen? Free energy or standard free energy change will be 62.2. This is not the free energy release, this is standard free energy delta G naught. Okay, it is released in the value of 62.2 kilojoules per mole. Okay, and the next one is creatine phosphate. Creatine phosphate, it is one of the important high energy compound. Okay, till now what we have discussed? ATP and enol component, and also one more component, that is phosphoric carboxyl anhydride. Okay, so these are the three examples, and the fourth one is creatine phosphate. Creatine phosphate, this is the main storage form of energy in muscle. Okay, it is the most important energy form, storage form in the muscle, and it serves as a ready source of phosphoryl groups for quick synthesis of ATP from ADP. So regarding this creatine phosphate, this is the main energy source in the muscle. Okay, so creatine phosphate will be present in the muscles, and this will provide free energy for the requirements of the muscle. Okay, as our muscle require huge amount of energy for the muscle movement. Okay, so this purpose is facilitated by this creatine phosphate, and this is a ready source of phosphoryl group, and quick synthesis of ATP from ADP will be formed. Okay, from ATP will be easily formed. So in muscles also, it is found in the skeletal muscle more than 10 times to the ATP concentration. Okay, when compared to the other ones, this particular creatine phosphate is present 10 times the higher of ATP concentration in skeletal muscle. Okay, so ATP is an energy rich source to the cells. Okay, to the different kinds of cells, but coming to skeletal muscle cells, creatine phosphate is the major energy source, and it is present more than 10 times to the ATP concentration in skeletal muscles. It is also found in smooth muscles, brain and kidneys at low concentration. Okay, so it is very high in skeletal muscles and it is it is present in low concentration in smooth muscle, brain and also in kidney. And this creatine phosphate, if you see the structure, see this, it contains one high energy phosphate group and creatine phosphate is converted to creatine with the help of a ADP molecule. Finally, after reaction, what will happen? ATP and one creatine molecule will be formed, and here delta G naught is minus 3.2 kilocalories per mole, minus 3.2 kilocalories per mole. Okay. The next one is high energy thioesters. High energy thioesters. And this high energy thioesters, these thioesters have a large negative free energy on hydrolysis. Okay, on hydrolysis of these thioesters, large negative free energy can be released. And best example is acetyl CoA is one of the main compound belonging to this group. Okay, acetyl CoA is a important high energy thioester or important thioester, and it is very essential for many biological actions in our body. And the linkage between COOH or COO minus and SH group is a thioester linkage. That means if a bond formed between COOH and sulfur group SH, this is called as thioester linkage. If you see the diagram, thioester is converted into ester form with the help of a water molecule, that means by hydrolysis process, and finally ester form is produced. Okay, and coenzyme is separated. Okay, CoASH is separated from the ester form, and by this what will happen? This will release large negative free energy. Large negative free energy will be released. Okay, so these are the few important high energy compounds. So first of all, what is high energy compound? It is a compound which readily liberates high amounts of free energy, whenever it is required, and energy related is around 7 kilocalories per mole at pH 7. Okay, it will have sufficient free energy to liberate at least 7 kilocalories per mole at pH 7. Okay, and here these are also different biomolecules, and they are helpful in the flow of energy from exergonic reaction to the energy requirement of the life. And if you see best examples here, coming to the scientist who worked for this particular high energy compound is Lippmann, and he suggested bond representation, that is high energy bond representation with squiggle. Okay, and here four kinds of high energy compounds are present. Those are phosphoric acid anhydrates, and best example is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Here ADP, AMP, these are also considered under this category. And the next one is phosphoric carbolic anhydrate. anhydrate. If you see this, phosphoric carbolic anhydrate, and it is best example is acyl phosphate. Okay, acyl phosphate. And the next one is enol phosphate. Next one is enol phosphate. Here enol phosphate is best example is phosphoenol pyruvate, and fourth one is thioesterase, and this for this example is thioester itself. Okay, thioester itself. So these are the four types of compounds, high energy compounds, and for each category we have discussed one example. And what are they? For the first group, that is phosphoric acid anhydrate, we have discussed about ATP. It is the most important type of high energy compound, and it is present in all the phylogenetic evolution tree. That means in almost all the species, this particular ATP is present. Okay, so, and why this ATP is very important and high energy compound means this particular ATP contains 3 high energy phosphate groups connected with 2 bonds. Okay, 2 phosphate bonds will be presented, will be seen, and these will connect 3 high energy phosphate groups. Okay, if you see the structure you can get a better idea. Okay, and this particular ATP is responsible for both catabolic and anabolic reactions, and it will donate its high energy phosphate to low energy compounds, and thus it will make the low energy compounds into energy rich compounds. Okay, and ATP will yield much energy when the pyrophosphate group is hydrolyzed. Okay, when the pyrophosphate group is hydrolyzed, it will release high energy, and also it can get hydrolyzed. Huge amount of energy is released by the 2 hydrolysis processes. Okay, free energy will be released high, and free energy present in the ATP will be decreased by 2 hydrolysis reactions. Okay, and the next one is acetyl phosphate. Best example is 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, and the second one is acetyl phosphate. So these 2 are the best examples, and these are the components intermediate. This 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is a component of glycolysis metabolic pathway, and this will be hydrolyzed to form 3-phosphoglycerate. This will be hydrolyzed to form 3-phosphoglycerate by the enzyme phosphoglycerate kinase, and H2O is water molecule is utilized to remove the high energy phosphate. Okay, and the next one is enol. Phosphoenol pyruvate is the best example. This is the enolic phosphate, and an important intermediate in glycolysis as well. That means like this 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, this particular phosphoenol pyruvate is also a intermediate in the glycolysis process, and it plays important role in the carbohydrate metabolism, and it has large negative free energy, and it contains 1 phosphoester bond that can undergo hydrolysis to yield enol form of pyruvate, and immediately tautomerization will occur and more stable keto pyruvate will be formed. That means immediately after the formation or conversion of this 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to phosphoenol pyruvate, this phosphoenol pyruvate is converted into pyruvate, and immediately this pyruvate is formed in the form of enol form. Okay, and this enol form is converted into keto form, which is a more stable form of pyruvate. This requires tautomerization. Okay, to complete this reaction with along with hydrolysis, tautomerization reaction is also required. Okay, so by that reaction what will happen? More stable keto form will be formed, and this particular keto form will release large negative free energy and not the enolic pyruvate. Okay, so that's why to complete the reaction of this phosphoenol pyruvate to liberate large negative free energy, it requires to a followed reaction of tautomerization along with hydrolysis will be required. Okay, and the next one is creatine phosphate. Next example is creatine phosphate, and this is the major storage energy for the muscle. Okay, it is mostly present in muscle, and in very less quantity it is present in brain and also smooth muscles and kidneys. Okay, this will also release high amount of free negative energy. And the last example is thioester. Thioester is also will contain large negative free energy, and acetyl CoA is one of the main compound belonging to this group. Okay, this will lead to formation of coenzyme A. Okay, coenzyme A is the major end product. So this is how these high energy compounds are helpful in the liberation of free energy required our body. Okay, so please keep the material with you while listening to the class. Thank you, students.